Alright guys, let's get back to it. So why methods? So we're finally getting started with the methods. Methods or functions, depending on what you call them, are basically a set of instructions that you have typed out, and instead of retyping everything out and having to describe, in this case, how to check if a number is a prime number, we can just call it again and again. So that's kind of cool. So in this case, it checks if 2 is a prime, 2 is prime, 9 is not prime, 11 is prime, 51 is not prime, and 97 is prime. Alright, so onward and upward into methods, blocks, and sorting. Alright, it looks then we have to end the method, I guess, or the definition. Alright, so it just threw me off a little bit. This almost looks like a for loop. It's kind of a bad name, if you ask me, but what do I know? Alright, so we're going to create a method called greeting, so def greeting. It should use puts to print a greeting to the console, so we're going to puts welcome to my first method, and then we are going to end our method, and then you can see eventually it's going to be called down there. Alright, so welcome to my first method. Perfect. Alright, so now it's asking us to call it. So on line 5 here, it says easy as this. So we're calling it right now. So array of 10 is the name of our method. We're going to call it, and it's going to print out 1 through 10. Bam. Simple enough. Next section, more complex methods. Cupertino, parameters and arguments. So now we need our parameter here is n, and basically what's going to happen is anytime we're going to need to include a parameter from somewhere. Maybe we can just make it up, or maybe we'll get it from another method, and it's going to then run its instructions and do what it needs to do. So we want to call it, and to do that, we got Cupertino, and then they want us to pass 8 in it. So here we go. And so 8 to the third power is 512. Let's see, 64 times 8, that seems about right. Splat. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, this is interesting. Alright, so the splat argument is when you have an asterisk above something here, and you're not sure how many arguments are to come. So this is going to let's see, split up, and this bros is going to be called, you can see there's more than 2 arguments here. So it's going to go greeting, which is what up, followed by Justin, Ben, Kevin, and Sorbo. So let's see, bros on each. What up? Oh, Kevin Sorbo is 1. Okay, cool. That's it makes it a little more simple. Let's learn return. So this is basically your first getter, and a getter There's getters and there's setters, and getters are where basically it will get a value for you. In this case, or return a value. So that's why they're usually called getters. Alright, so let's just do it together. Def add, and it takes two numbers as arguments, so we're going to say num1, num2, and then we want it to return num1 plus num2, and then we need to end it. So you see that no code actually comes out because we didn't call the add function, or the add method, and because of that, it works. There's nothing wrong with it, but we haven't used it yet. Alright, so practice makes perfect. To find two methods editor, we need a greeter. So def greeter, it's going to take a single parameter called name, and it's going to return a string greeting the person. So in this case, return hi there, and then pound squiggly name exclamation point, and then we're going to end it. And it doesn't want us to use print or puts. Alright, and by def by underscore 3 question mark. That takes a single parameter number, and returns true. So we're going to say if number modulo 3. So if this number divided by 3 has no remainder is equal to 0, we want it to return true. Else return false, and then we need to end it, and then end it. So I believe I did that right. Alright, so now we're going to go on to blocks, it looks like. Blocks are like nameless methods. Let's see here. Okay, so it's just built into the language, basically, like the times method. It's considered a block, and that's what we've been doing so far. So, how blocks differ than methods? In this case, I don't think we can edit the blocks. So, yeah, so blocks are basically built in, and methods we define ourselves. That's kind of the best way to think about it, I think. It's probably a little more complex than that, but there's so many libraries that you just have to sum it up like that, and you'll get more familiar with it as time goes by. Alright, so currently the second .each will print out 5 times, since it'll print 5 for each item. Modify the block so that it'll print each item in the array multiplied by 5. Let's see if that works. Oh. So we'll say I times 5, silly me. Alright, and there you go. So the .each isn't changed, but we alter the output in this case, so you can see it prints out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then it goes 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Simple enough. Excuse me. So now we're going to be sorting. In this case, they have something called a sort method. So my array dot sort. Let's see if that works. And it does. Oh wait. think we need the exclamation point. It still works, but the exclamation point, if I remember correctly, uh, alright, so this, alright, the exclamation point actually replaces the original. So let's reset the code, and so let's try this. We're going to show the difference here. This is kind of important. So myArray.sort, and then we'll call myArray again, and then we'll call myArray.sort, exclamation point, and then we'll call array. So alright, so print I don't think this is gonna work. I think I might have to oh, it did work. Okay. So in myArray.sort you can see it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, but right after on line 7 when we print out again, you can see right here that it actually isn't sorted for, it doesn't sort the actual array. So the array remains unchanged, but when we then do it with the exclamation point, it sorts it again, and then you can see right here that it then goes through and changes it permanently because of the exclamation point. So just something to keep track of. Foundations. Alright. So we want to sort it alphabetically. Let's see what the... Okay, so I guess it sorts out. I was thinking there's alphabetical, but books.sort. So for strings, we'll sort it alphabetically. That's kind of cool to have that built in. Very intuitive, which isn't always the case sometimes. The combined comparison operator. So we need to compare book 1 to book 2 in that order. Alright, so we'll say book underscore 1 to book underscore 2. So in this case, it returns a 1. So what does that mean? If it returns 0, the first operand, book 1, equals the second. It didn't return 0 because it's not equal. 1 in the first operand is greater than the second, and -1 is the second operand. So in this case, I guess book 1 is greater than book 2. Alright. Whatever you say, boss. Alright, so I don't know that we would be using that a lot, but I'm sure there's a situation where you'd use that. Alright, sort your books in descending order on line 8. Use the example of sorting in ascending order in line 4 as a guide. So, let's see. So we're going to be doing books.sort, exclamation point, and then we need to call upon the two parameters, first book, second book. Yeah, and we could name these whatever we want. And what we're saying here is, so what happens here, this puts it in an ascending order, saying if this one is, it's taking the first value, which would be in this case Charlie and Chocolate Factory, and comparing it to War and Peace. And if this is less than, it's going to move up. It's going to swap places, and then it's going to run through the whole iteration of our books array. So in this case, we just simply need to switch second book to first book. Oops. Because this is going to be checking. I think this will work. I may be wrong, but oh, it's a little more complicated than that. So, oh, that works. After I saw this, I thought maybe okay, this is the code if you didn't know that you could use the comparison operator. This is what you would have to actually write out. So you can see this is a lot simpler than what we were working with there. So, basic methods. Create a method welcome, and all we wanted to do is put out welcome to Ruby, exclamation point, and then we want to end it, and then we want to call it. So well, there it goes, welcome to Ruby. Alright, methods with arguments. In this case, we want to change our welcome method to add a single parameter name. Remove your put statement and replace it with return hello, comma, pound name, and they don't want a bracket there, so, and that should work just fine. Oh, we need to, because we changed it, we need to supply with a parameter. In this case, we'll say Dylan. So then there you go, hello Dylan. Now we need to, we're going to review our blocks real quick. Add a block after .each that multiplies each item by itself and puts the result into the console. So, add a block. Alright, so here's our array. And then we'll set our sum equal to 0 and puts the result to the console. Okay, so we then need to run through size is easier, is usually what I would do here. And then we'll say sum is equal to sum plus size, and then we're going to end it, and then we're going to print the sum. So in this case, it should be 3, 6, 10, 15. There it is. What did we do wrong? Oh, it needs to be multiplied by itself. Each item. Size. Size. I believe that. Oh. So that's it. Looks like your block doesn't print the square of each number to the console using puts. Huh. Alright. So my array, let's see, it wants to do it a different way. So we need to call the placeholder, which in this case we'll do size again. Size. And then we'll say here we want to add a block that multiplies each item by itself, then puts the result to the console. We'll say size times size. And we'll say put size times size. Let's see if that works. There we go. Okay, so we're just going to be multiplying the size. We didn't need this sum. I got a little confused by the example. My fault for not reading the instructions. Alright, so next is sorting, and we're going to use the .sort to sort the fruits in descending, that is reverse alphabetical order. You can use the combined comparison operator, like example above, or an if, else if, or else statement. So in this case, we're going to just use combined comparison. So fruits dot sort, and then we're going to do, we'll say fruit 1 fruit 2, and then we're just going to switch it over. You can see right here, this is ascending order. In this case, what we want to do is descending. So we're going to say fruit 2, fruit 1, and then we're going to end. Did it want us to print it out? So there we go. Starts with pairs and works its way down. So that was our intro to methods, blocks, and sorting. And combined comparison. Oddly enough, they actually never let me use the sort method and stuff. They always seem to want you in class to create your own. So that was kind of weird and nice at the same time. So we're going to be ordering your library next in the same methodical sorting section. So that's what we have to look forward to next. You see things are getting a little more complex, but we're still only writing about 15-20 lines of code at a time. And I'll look forward to the more complex stuff, and I hope you guys are doing well. Thank you. And if you have any questions, as always, just comment on the videos down below.